Let's get started on part A. So I'm reading this from the Excel file here. So it says convert grams per liter, which is what I have, and then we're all going to have a different initial quantity. Mine is 2.5, so I have 2.5 grams per liter. Our goal here is to transfer this over to ounces per gallon. So just in case, right, this is our goal, and I'm going to put it down here. Ounces per gallon. And we're going to use the conversion table that is given to you in the Excel spreadsheet for DQ2 this week to go about and find the actual conversions we need. So notice that we start in grams. So I'm going to pick one of these at a time. Which one you pick is up to you. I'm going to convert grams to ounces. So I start in grams. I need to go look at my conversion table that gives me a relationship between grams and ounces. Now that is located in row 15. It says 1 ounce is equal to 28.3495 grams. So this is given. Now, in order to select how to build our ratio, we want it to be the case that these grams cancel out. So if I have grams in my numerator, my ratio should have grams in the denominator. I need to cancel these units out so that I'm only going to be left with the units that I want. And we'll put the 1 ounce up here. So again, notice that these two units, I have grams in my numerator over here, grams in my denominator over here, they're now going to cancel out, and I'll be left, let's grab a different color, with the units of ounces that I want. So perfect, we have step 1 done. Grams has been correctly transitioned over to ounces. We now need to switch liters. Nope, I don't need to do that. I need to switch liters, right, to gallons. And so again, I'm going to go look at my conversion table and look for the conversion that has liters and gallons. And I can see it. I have 1 liter, and I'll tell you the row to look in, is equal to 0.2642 gallons. And this is located in row 20. And again, so now I need to get rid of liters. So right now I have liters in my denominator. I need to cancel it out, which means I need to put my liters in my numerator. So again, 1 liter, that's why I'm using 1 liter in the numerator, is equal to 0.2642 gallons. And again, so now my liters also cancel out, right? And I'm left with the gallons that I want. And just so you can see, I'm just going to make this a little bit easier to see. Liters here, they cancel out. What about grams? Grams here, they cancel out, which only leaves us with ounces and gallons, which is exactly what we want. So going across the top, I have 2.5. So 2.5 times 1 times 1. I'm just looking at the numerators. That's going to give me 2.5. Don't forget about the units, ounces. Divided by, we have, this is technically 1 liter times 28.3495 times 0.2642 gallons. Perfect. And so I just wanted to show this calculation by hand so that we can see it. We are going to let Excel do all of the math for us, and we actually want to use cell references. So when you see me do the Excel portion, you'll actually see me use Excel references, and I'm going to re-explain why I'm grabbing those numbers. But I wanted it to be clear as to why I'm putting them in the order that I am. I need these conversions, grams here, to cancel out. And same thing with liters. So that is why I'm choosing one to be in my numerator and the other to be in my denominator based on which one will cancel which one out. So I will see you in the Excel portion, but now we at least have a little bit of math background to understand why one of them is going in the numerator and the other is going in the denominator. See you in the Excel portion. Welcome into the Excel part of this video for part A. Let's get right to it. If you didn't, I do recommend at least watching one of the videos where I go through it by hand, so it's going to make sense as to why I pick some units to be in the numerator and the others to be in the denominator. Here I'm going to go through it a little bit more quickly. All right, so it says convert grams per liter to ounces per gallon. So this means I need to convert grams to ounces and liters to gallons. The first thing that I'm going to do, you can actually do either one of these first, is take grams and convert it to ounces. Now you'll notice here in this first initial unit that grams is currently in the numerator. I need to get rid of it, which means in order to get rid of it, grams now needs to go in the denominator, which implies ounces has to go in the numerator. All right, so you can see the grams here in this numerator will get canceled with the one over here in the denominator. And now, the reason why I do this first is it's going to make it easier when I go to my conversion table to choose which one. So I'm going to push equals. I need to put in a formula. And again, I want ounces first divided by grams. So when I go up to my conversion table, we can find this in row 15. Right, I'm going to click ounces first divided by grams. So that is B15 divided by F15. I'll press enter. Perfect. Ounces. All right, let's move to the next one. And it's not going to mark it correct here because you can do either one of these. Right, it doesn't matter which one you do first. It can't really mark it correct or incorrect. It'll wait till these boxes over here to let you know. So same thing now. We've done grams to ounces. That is done. Now I need to do liters to gallons. So I want to get rid of liters. Right now, liters is hanging out in my denominator over here, which means over here, it needs to be hanging out in my numerator, which implies that gallons must be in my denominator. So again, this should help you. So when you're up looking in your conversion table, you know which one to pick first. So I need to grab liters first and divide it by gallons. You'll see in row 20, we have liters divided by gallons. Enter. And finally, if we want our final units should be, it says we want ounces per gallon, so it should be ounces per gallon. And now our final quantity, a very easy mistake that I've seen a couple times here, is we want to make sure we grab our initial quantity. All right, so I'm going to push equals, grab your initial quantity, and we're going to do times your first ratio times your second ratio, and we'll just press enter. And you'll notice now it should tell you if it's right or wrong. So we are good in this case. I will see you in part B. Again, if there was any confusion on why I chose one to be in the numerator and the other to be in the denominator, please go back and watch one of those videos where I go through it by hand. But other than that, I will see you in part B. Welcome into part B, where we are going to convert. So my initial quantity is 5. I am converting 5 meters squared per milliliter. And I'm going to put my goal over here. It says convert this to feet squared, or square feet per teaspoon. So feet squared per teaspoon. The very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch over milliliters to teaspoons. And that is going to be located in row 21 of your conversion table. I'm going to write out what it says. Row 21 says 1 teaspoon is equal to 4.9289 milliliters. Let's go ahead and erase that really quick. All right, so same as part A. We need to get rid of the milliliters that are currently hanging out in the denominator. To get rid of them, I must go place the milliliters in the numerator. And this goes with 1 teaspoon. Perfect. So now you can see my milliliters are going to get canceled out. Right? Next, it looks a little tricky. I'm going to go over some notation. So when I say meters squared, that means meters times meters. If I say feet squared, same idea. That's feet times feet. There's two of them. And so the reason why I mention this is when we do this next conversion, we need to do it 2 times. Each time we actually do the conversion, it's only going to get rid of one of those. I'll show you what I mean. First, let's find the conversion between meters and feet, located in row 22. It says 1 meter is equal to 3.2808 feet. And again, right now my meters are in my numerator. So if I want to get rid of them, I need to go place them in my denominator. And right now my meters is just 1 meter. And that goes with 3.2808 feet. And again, but because I have meters squared and I want feet squared, I need to do this conversion twice. So I'm going to do it one more time. So 3.2808 feet divided by 1 meter. And now we can clearly see, here's meter squared over here. Here's one of the meters I got rid of, and here's the other one. So my meters all cancel out. Same thing, we already know the milliliters also cancel out. And the good news also is that I have feet, right? So I have my feet squared. And again, we're going to save all the calculations for Excel. So we should be multiplying these cells, these are all cells, together to get our final answer. But I'm just going to write it down. So this is going to be 5 times 4.9829 times 3.2808 times another 3.2808, and that is now going to be feet squared all over. On the bottom we just have a bunch of ones being multiplied, so it doesn't really matter. 1 times 1 times 1, we will get 1, but we do end up with the teaspoons that we want. So again, I just want to mathematically show how all these units cancel out. But we're going to do the actual calculations in Excel using the conversion table as cell references. So I will see you there in the Excel portion. Welcome into part B. So we're going to do the same thing we did last time. The only difference is it says square meters. So convert square meters per milliliter to square feet per teaspoon. We're actually going to get rid of the square meters first. So notice we have M, and then there's this hat squared. This says meters squared is the notation. Okay, so again, notice meters is up here in the numerator. So if I want to get rid of a meters, that means I need meters in the denominator. And again, we're converting meters to feet. So that means feet must go in the numerator, while meters goes in the denominator. And because we need to do this twice, if I do this one time, this only gets rid of one of these meters, but there's 2 of them. So I need to do this same one twice. So the first one gets rid of one of the meters, the second one gets rid of the other meters, and then we have feet times feet, which gets us the feet squared to the square feet that we wanted. So we want feet divided by meters. So I'm going to put an equal sign, and I'm going to go look for the conversion between feet and meters. And again, I want feet first. So I want feet, this is in row 22. I want feet divided by meters. And it's okay that it's divided by 1, that's fine. Enter. And I'm going to go repeat that exactly again for this one. So I'm going to go feet divided by meter. And I mentioned this in the previous video, but again, if you're wondering, how did I know to put feet up here and meters down here, please go watch the previous part where I walked through it by hand. It's a little bit more clear cut because I can line up the fractions to show why the units cancel out. So we have successfully converted meters squared to feet squared. The last thing we need to do is convert milliliters to teaspoons. And so you can see here in this one, milliliters right now is in the denominator, which means if I want to get rid of it, it needs to be in the numerator. Milliliters in the numerator, teaspoons in the denominator. And so again, we're going to go look at our conversion table for this relationship between milliliters and teaspoon. We want milliliters first. So it looks like it's right here. We want milliliters first divided by our teaspoon. And finally, let's put in our last units. Our last units should be feet squared, or square feet, divided by, we want teaspoons. And we want to multiply everything. Don't forget we want this initial quantity. So C37 times F37 times I37 times our last ratio, our third ratio. And again, it should tell you here. It won't tell you in the actual ratios because you could actually put these in any order, but the final quantity and the final units will tell you whether or not your answer is correct. So again, if there's still any confusion on why I put some of the units in the numerator and the other ones in the denominator, please go back and watch the written portion of this video. It'll make it a little bit more clear-cut as to why which one is which. Other than that, I will see you in the next video in which I will be doing part C and part D. So see you there.